Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Tatter the Red, and I'm back with another video, y'all. Remember, if you like my vibe, like, share, and subscribe. You know the vibes. Today we're going to be talking about just some side effects of being in like a narcissistic relationship, friendship. What to do about it, some signs maybe from like your early childhood that could potentially be a reason why you attract narcissistic people. Yeah, so let's get started. So before I even start, let me put this disclaimer out there. Some of what I'm about to say might trigger you, especially if you may have grew up in, say, an abusive household. You had a lot of you're around a lot of toxic people and stuff like that. So I don't mean to trigger you. I'm just letting you know so we can all heal and grow together and be better people. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff triggers depression. And overall, I just want my content to really help somebody, because content creators like myself that posted their story and posted about narcissism helped me get through my situation and help me see a way out. So I want to be a way out for somebody else. So, yeah. So, some side effects of being in a toxic relationship are, one, you start to lose your identity. You start to lose who you are. And the reason why is because a lot of times when we meet narcissistic people, we think they're our soulmates. We think that they're just these perfect people. So when they meet us, they have their best face on. Basically, it's your best face. Because narcissistic people are very smart. They study you. They study your likes, your dislikes. So before they approach you, they've probably already encountered another person like you, or maybe they've seen what you do. Say, for instance, you're on social media. They start to mimic those things and be the best person ever to you. So you think that this person is caring. You think they're loving. You think that they're all the qualities that you possess. And then they switch and then mask falls. And you find out they were never you. They were themselves the whole time. You just didn't peep game. So how do you lose yourself? They start to nip away at your personality. They start to nip away at the things you love. Say, for instance, you love to work out. You met them, you was working out every day. They start negging you, which is like making little sidebar comments like, oh, you're starting to look like a man. Oh, you're working out too much. You're getting a little too skinny. I like them with a little ass, Excuse my French. I like them with a little ass, For me personally, I'm going to tell you my personal experience. I dated a guy, sidebar. I dated a guy, and I'm a runner. I like to run. I have it because of the holidays, so I gained a couple pounds, but don't mind me. And he didn't like the fact that I ran, and I worked out. I'd only been dating him like 2 or 3 months. And he would make comments like, oh, you're going to lose your ass. You're going to do this. I think you should stop running. Overall, he got dumped. But what I'm saying is, narcissistic people, they beat on your personality. They beat on it like a drum. They break it down. They break you down bit by bit. And you start to not do the things that you used to. They start beating down friends. If they don't want it to isolate you. Ultimately, it's to completely isolate you is the goal. Isolation. So you end up losing yourself. You lose the things that you love to do. You like to work out, you like to go to the gym, you like to hang out with your friends, you like to go party, you like to get a drink every now and then. All of that stops when you meet this narcissistic person. Now, another side effect is you become very depressed. You become very depressed because when somebody has you isolated and you're unhappy, you begin to, that's your vibration. You vibrate on that level. So you attract depression into your life. You attract that. And that's something that I had to learn personally, is that when you vibrate on depression, when you vibrate on anxiety, when you vibrate on those things, you begin to attract those things into your life. Right? So you begin to get depressed. You stop doing anything. You stop wanting to go out. You stop wanting to hang out with your friends. And you start beating yourself up. You become your own worst critic. Girl, maybe you are getting too fat. Let me try something else. Girl, maybe you do talk too much. Or maybe you are stupid. Maybe you are dumb. Girl, maybe you aren't pretty enough. Maybe those other girls are prettier. Or maybe you are the worst family member ever. Or maybe you ain't never gonna make it. And you start to beat yourself down. And this all happens sometimes sometimes it could take a month for a narcissistic person to just flip on you, and for this cycle to start, for them to start breaking down your personality bit by bit, breaking you down. Because like I said, the ultimate goal is to have you isolated. Once isolation is achieved, they move to their next target. Once they have you all to themselves and you're not going out seeking validation and you only want them, that's when they discard you and move to the next person. And that's how they feed. Once they get you roped up, then they move on to the next person. So that's depression happens. Anxiety, because I dealt with anxiety. A lot of anxiety, not just from like past relationships, but really when I started to delve deep into why I was attracting narcissistic people, I realized that it had a lot to do with how I grew up, and me growing up in a very abusive household, abusive narcissistic household. So yeah, and finding out that the reason why I was attracting the men that I was attracting was because my father was that way than my mom. My dad was 33 and my mom was 16, and he beat her personality down. He would abuse her and belittle her to us. And at the time, we were children. So I grew up seeing a man beat down a woman, and then vice versa. Because my mom was so beat down, another side effect of narcissism is the narcissistic fleets of narcissism. So you kind of become the abuser. So my mom became that, and I became the scapegoated child, which is the child that gets the worst treatment. You'll never be nothing. Called every B word in the name. But it is what it is. Am I mad about it now? No. My dad passed away when I was 16. So I really didn't start healing. This is all sidebar, by the way, to explain a couple things. My dad passed away when I was 16. And it took until I was 29 to really understand that my mom wasn't the villain in my story. My dad was. My dad created the villain. And then that narcissistic facade fell. And that was when my healing journey, my spiritual journey really took off. And that was when I really started to find peace, was when I started to reconstruct my childhood and reconstruct why I was attracting the people I was attracting, why all this stuff was happening to me. And I was the reason why. That's why I said it's going to be a trigger in this video for somebody, because a lot of times we sit back and we wonder why things are happening to us when we are the root cause, and we have to take accountability for our actions just as well as that person. Yes, they are narcissistic, but we have a part to play in our own demise as well. So I would say an effect of narcissism is it can destroy not just your life, but the life of your kids. If you have a narcissistic family member, it does damage to you. Even if you just sit next to it, it does damage to you. It has their side effects for it. Yeah. But what I really want to say is I got through it. You know, it took me until I was 29 and I hit that pivotal moment where I had attracted the last narcissistic man and narcissistic job situation that I could handle. And I hit that moment where I hit my version of rock bottom. And I'm telling you this because this could help somebody. It really could. I'm going to cut it off here, and I'm going to do a part 2 because I don't want my phone to go off on me, okay? But I'll be back with a part 2, y'all, okay?